Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu finds himself in a precarious position as the United States government hints at withdrawing its support for Israel. This shift in policy is exemplified by the imposition of a travel ban on Israel settlers living in the West Bank who engage in violence. Israel versus Hamas conflict has now persisted for 62 days, resulting in over 16,000 deaths, and the US government appears reluctant to witness further loss of life in the war. The White House, represented by its spokesperson Matthew Miller, has disclosed the introduction of travel bans on Israel civilians involved in activities that undermine peace in the West Bank.
Today, as President Biden recently warned, the United States is taking action to address this escalating violence in the West Bank by implementing a new visa restriction policy under Section 212A3C of the Immigration and Nationality Act. Under this policy, the United States will pursue visa restrictions against individuals involved in or meaningfully contributing to the undermining of peace, security, or stability in the West Bank. This includes acts of violence against persons or property, as well as undue restrictions on civilians' access to essential services and basic necessities. Immediate family members of such persons may also be subject to these restrictions.
This raises the question why President Joe Biden, who initially expressed strong support for Israel when the war began, has undergone this change of heart. In this episode, we will explore the reasons that may have led Joe Biden to withdraw his support for Israel. Number 1. The 2024 US general elections. Now, these elections play a significant role in Joe Biden's decision-making. Biden aims to secure a landslide victory in these elections, and supporting Israel in the Israel-Palestine conflict could hinder that goal. Muslim American leaders in several key democratic states have pledged to mobilize their communities against President Joe Biden's re-election bid due to his unwavering support for Israel's actions in Gaza. The #Abandon Biden campaign originated when Muslim Americans in Minnesota demanded that Biden call for a ceasefire. This movement has since gained traction in states such as Michigan, Arizona, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Florida. With over 3.5 million Muslims in the US, including 2 million Arab Americans, withdrawing their support could significantly impact Biden's election prospects.
Brothers and sisters, we call him Genocide Joe because he is directly responsible for the over 10,000 Palestinian children whose lives have been obliterated by Israel with American bombs and weapons and tax dollars. You do not accidentally kill 10,000 children. You do not accidentally kill 20,000 civilians. You do not accidentally destroy the homes of nearly 2 million people.
Additionally, Biden's core vote base, consisting of young and minority voters, is pressuring him to call for a ceasefire in the Israel-Palestine conflict. Data for Progress, a progressive US think tank, reported that 61% of likely US voters support calls for a permanent ceasefire and de-escalation of violence in Israel's war in Gaza, which has claimed more than 16,000 lives since October 7th. This survey underscores the potential electoral consequences if Joe Biden does not adjust his stance on the conflict. To avoid this outcome, Biden's officials have been publicly condemning Israel's responsible for violence against Palestinians. US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has urged Israel to protect Palestinian civilians in its fight against Hamas in Gaza, emphasizing the importance of safeguarding non-combatants for urban warfare success.
In this kind of a fight, the center of gravity is the civilian population. And if you drive them into the arms of the enemy, you replace a tactical victory with a strategic defeat. So I have repeatedly made clear to Israel's leaders that protecting Palestinian civilians in Gaza is both a moral responsibility and a strategic imperative.
Vice President Kamala Harris has also expressed concerns over the high number of Palestinian civilians casualties and the distressing images emerging from Gaza as the conflict intensifies following the end of a week-long ceasefire agreement.
As Israel defends itself, it matters how. The United States is unequivocal. International humanitarian law must be respected. Too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. Frankly, the scale of civilian suffering and the images and videos coming from Gaza are devastating. I have spoken with members of the Palestinian, Arab, and Muslim communities of America, including those who have lost loved ones in Gaza and American citizens who were injured and evacuated from Gaza. It is truly heartbreaking.
Now that Americans have set their boundaries, the question remains, will Israel yield to them? Benjamin Netanyahu maintains that he must protect his country at all costs. Evidently, a significant number of Israelis have resorted to arming themselves with firearms such as Glocks and AKs in a desperate attempt to feel a semblance of security. Amidst these developments, more civilians continue to lose their lives, including 6,000 children, and regrettably, the war shows no signs of abating. That is it for now. Thanks for watching. Let's meet next time. Bye-bye.